sure how this session is going to go. Hopefully, you guys are able to join me. Fix that white balance on that. So, thank you very much for joining me on this quick live and drive session. If you don't feel like it, what do you do when you don't feel like it? That's been a pretty heavy run. Just stop and just keep going. But the truth is I suffer from that. I just actually had a new one-on-one. Guys, I do have one-on-one slots available if you guys need some one-on-one coaching. Not just like cold calling and door knocking. I'm a therapist, man. I can get in your head. I'm already in my head. So we're all screwed up. We got all these issues that we're dealing with when it comes to trying to succeed, having goals, having dreams, a vision, and then our vision gets thwarted by this inability to maintain a drive. And we compare ourselves to other people, and I think that's part of the problem with having this feeling reoccur is when you have an expectation that has been set up based on someone else's outcome. For example, if you expect that you should be selling 50 houses a year, if you expect that and you don't, you get discouraged. That doesn't cause you to not want to do it. That doesn't translate to not feeling like it. If anything, it should translate to, oh, hell no, I'm going after it. I'm talking about when you don't have to. And I came up with I said something earlier today, and I go, I should write this down, and I'll see if I can remember it. You don't have to want to, but you do want. You don't want to have to. You don't want to have to, but you have to want to. Boom! You hear that? I'm gonna have to write that in the comments below. That is, you don't want to have to. Don't want to have to. I have to sell real estate. I have to sell at least one house a month. At least one house a month. Or I'm twirling a sign on the freeway. In the story. At least one. But what is that for? Survival? Like the minimum standard? Is that what you do? I have to. And you don't want to have to. You have to want to. And that's also where that's probably one of the most profound things out there, and I hope it's mine. You see, when you don't have to want to, you don't. I got several one-on-one students that have jobs, right? They don't have kids, they don't have like financial responsibilities, so they don't have to. They want to. But if they don't have to want to, they don't have any passion. They don't want to do it. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. You know Arnold Schwarzenegger. When Arnold Schwarzenegger was a kid, this is like before he was a teenager, he decided he wanted to be the greatest bodybuilder ever. He didn't have to, but he had to want to. And he had to want to. In order to be a great bodybuilder, you can't have to. You know what I mean? Look at Conor McGregor, the greatest fighter ever, in my opinion, right? And many's opinion. Some will say Floyd Mayweather, but if the gloves came off, there'd be no chance, and you know it. Conor McGregor, pound for pound, the best fighter ever. He had to, and he wanted to. And if you have this place in your life where you have to, right? He's dead broke, and he wants to be the best. That's a very unique, very, very unique combination. But it's not that hard to get there. But do affirmations make you feel like you're full of shit? Do your affirmations make you feel like I can say it all I want, but it's not real? I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it. That's what this is about. How do you feel like you want to? How do you want to? I wish I had the answer. I really do. You have to want to. and you don't want to have to. I don't want to have to sell real estate. Do you know how much easier it is when I got a bunch of money in the bank and a bunch of closings on the table and everything's just right, right? That's when you don't want to have to, because to want to have to, you start feeling like pressure, and clients sense that, and it makes you sloppy, right? It makes you less focused. There's no joy when you have to sell real estate. Like, this deal means everything. You lose sleep, you lose motivation. So I always get this. I always bring back 2011, 2012. In my opinion, it was less than 7 years ago, but it was the bottom of my life. The bottom. Both my parents died within a month of each other. The economy was a complete ruin. The real estate industry, all I did was dozens of REOs. I wasn't like, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was making still 200 G's, 250, but it was all going right back out to catch up on the months that slowed down, and it was just horrible. Paying the price for my excess, 7 and 8 and 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then tightening the belt 10, 11, 12, and then at 12, if there was an ounce of suicidal in my body, this video wouldn't be happening. Trust me. My sister goes into a coma. My wife gets pregnant. I'm 80 pounds overweight. I live streamed the entire year in 2011. Some of you might not know that. 24/7 in 2011. I mean, just you want to talk about a shitstorm? That was my shitstorm. But I had to. I had no choice. I wanted to, because I never wanted to feel it again. So I'm in this place now where I have to want to. But don't think that for a second I don't feel like I want it. Like, I don't feel it. Like, right now I just came back from a transaction. It's going to give me a month, right? But then what about the next month and the next month? This real estate industry is like a tunnel. It's like a tunnel. And there's always this light way far in the distance. And you always get closer, but you never quite get out. Do you know anyone who gets out? I don't know anyone. I'm trying to, like, at the top of my head, think of any agent that I know that has come out of the light. Sure, you can see, like, the top producing agents who are making $1 million a year, but do you think they're not stepping on the gas? To be at that level, to play at that level, these top agents, they got no lives. Oh, they got lives, James. They're on vacation all the time. I'm trying to reset the white balance on this thing. They got it made. They're happy. Achieving joy with the pressure of entrepreneurship is really, really, really hard. If you love what you do, then yes, you can achieve joy in this industry, but it is really, really hard. Especially if you're messed up in the head, like me. I don't deny I've got issues. I've got issues. I've been institutionalized. I've been in a straitjacket and pinned to a table and grew up on a couch. I've been there. And they're still there. The demons are still there. I was put away for 30 days when I was a teenager. It's a whole other story. But those don't go away. The doctors poked and prodded trying to find out. They put puzzles and blotters and ink splatters and to guess why doesn't everything look like a vagina? So anyway, got one thing on my mind. But when you get into that state of mind where, like, the voices, the self-doubt, the talk, the idle chatter that goes in there, idle hands is the idle chatter of your mind. So keeping a metronome, you know what a metronome is? Those things that when you play the piano, it keeps in time, keep rhythm. You gotta find your metronome, slap it, and then just let it tick, and never let it stop. What is your metronome? And that metronome has to be, let's use that music analogy. Let's say that the metronome has to be your song. Your life is your song, and your action is the heartbeat, the metronome. The talk of the clock every day, keeping yourself busy, so that when you don't feel like it, it's okay. But you have to think to yourself, do I feel like it because I don't want it? And that's okay. Feeling like you don't want it, I would rather feel like I don't want it than I would have to want it. Does this make sense? I'm such a better person, such a better salesperson, such a better husband, such a better father when money's not an issue. These things are not an issue. And when the pressure of money, the pressure of success, and so you've got to set your big why or your big vision so big, not like, so one of my one-on-ones today goes, James, you like Grant Cardone? I'm like, no, I don't like Grant Cardone. I like his books, but I don't like Grant Cardone. Like, why? Because we ride on two different things, right? I'm not there yet, or maybe I never will be. I don't know where my side is going to be, but I don't feel comfortable for his own, but just that it's not what I'm looking for, right? It's what my ultimate goal is make $1 million a year selling residential real estate, maybe have one or two buyer's agents, and my wife not to work at all in the real estate business. That'd be awesome. And then just have like a full-time admin, walk in the office, have business, and get out, right? But how am I going to get that unless I have a specific goal in mind? And I have to want that. You have to want it. Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted it. And so if you can find what it is that you want, I want the iPhone XS. I get it. I want a big van with my name on it and a mobile office. I get it. But you look at someone like Grant Cardone. What does he want? He wants to be a billionaire. Gary Vaynerchuk wants to buy the jets. You don't buy billionaires. So everybody's got their reason why. Why do you watch me? Why do you want to do this at all? Because you want to? Well, if you want to, then you're okay, because you want to means that you like this business, that it's treating you right. If you want to do this business and you have to, then you'll succeed. But if you've got a full-time job or even a part-time job that pays you, you don't have to. You have to want to. If you don't have to sell real estate because your job is taking care of you, it's going to be pretty hard to want to sell real estate because your job's taking care of you. And this want to business, real estate is not a want to business. Real estate is a have to business. You have to apply yourself. Maybe one or two you're lucky enough where you don't have to, you just, whatever, they fall in your lap, whatever, good for you. Maybe you're lucky that you get away with it. I don't have a choice. I don't get deals falling in my lap. People don't just call me out of the blue and say, "Come list me." They do, actually, but not enough to sustain. So what I'm getting at is my goal is to go through this tunnel and get this close and maybe keep my head out of the tunnel, and maybe that far. And what is that number? When is enough enough? Like, some of you might not want that. Some of you might not need that. I mean, what does it take for you to survive? How much money do you need to eat next month? Do you have children? Do you have responsibilities? Is that your thermostat? See, my thermostat is set at X thousand dollars a month, and that X thousand dollars a month is food, shelter, car payments, house payments, just anything. There's a temperature there. So as long as I sell enough houses to meet that thermostat, that temperature, I'm cool. I don't get uncomfortably cold. I don't get uncomfortably hot. I'm right there. But is that bigger thinking? Is that going to get me to feel like it? Yeah, if like I got one deal and that one deal is equivalent to this, but what about the next month? So you've got to put yourself into what about the one right after? The bigger picture. Okay, you got this month covered. Good job. You can sleep tonight. But what about 30 days from now? Do you have that? You see, this business revolves on cycles, state cycle, but it revolves on your cycle too. How many deals do you have to do now for you to be good later? How many listings do you have to get later? So I got 4 of them. 2 of them I just got an alert. 3 of them are getting steady showing sold yet. 1 is in escrow. So of those 3, if they do, then that represents chunks of complacency and sedentary and puts me in a place to where I don't have to because I've got money, whether it's coming in or in the bank. I've got it, so I don't have to. But is that big enough thinking? What if the market collapses and I've only got, say, 6 months stockpiled? You know what I'm talking about? Your nut, how much you make and how much you take home and how much it costs to survive. If you don't have a secondary income, if you don't have, then you don't know that number because you can say, well, my wife makes enough to support us, therefore you don't have to. Well, my husband makes enough to keep the household, so I don't really have to. When you don't really have to, finding the reason to want to has to be something as powerful as love or death. It's that, like, death or love. I think those are the only 2 most powerful forces. Poverty, right? Survival, which is death. But poverty, love, death. Being dead broke. I mean, my heart cringes at the idea of me having to go to another career. Like, that alone for me is like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine my wife having to get a second, go and get a job and where would it be? And oh my God, get to work, James, get to work, get on the phone. You got to have it so big, but it's got to be so far away that you can put a vacation in there without worrying about it. That you can buy a rental property without worrying about it. Buy a timeshare without worrying about it. Does that make sense? Buy an RV without worrying about it. Get so far into the future that everything is joyful so that you don't have to, but you want to. Can you find what makes you want it so bad that you have to without feeling the pressure that you have to, or you die, or you'll be out of love, or you'll be broke? Powerful stuff, man. Anyhow, I've got one-on-one coaching opening. I've dropped my price ridiculously low. Make sure you go to jamesfestini.com in the training section. I've reduced the monthly membership. It is now $30 a month, a month 100. My top 100 video lessons that were never made available in one bulk. It is $300, like originally $1,000. Get it? Like $300. 50 hours of never before seen training content. 50 hours. I think Grant Cardone's university is like $12,000, and it's 14 hours, and it has nothing to do with real estate. You're talking to me. You need to drop $300 on that thing, like ASAP, before I come out of my fog and be like, what the? 50 hours? All of my library for $300? What the hell? No bueno. All right, anyhow, get back to work.